one-day licenses, for extension of premises, Sunday, October 21st. Lynn Auditorium, we have 3, Friday, September 28th, Saturday, September 29th, and I just received one for Wednesday, October 3rd.
Madam Chairperson, I reviewed them all. I would make a motion if it's in order to recommend that we grant all of the one-day licenses.
I would add an amendment that we assess the fee for well. All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. And then we have common victular, Bianco, Superman Sub, Grill, on the west. When do you plan on?
I'd like to have a bigger soft opening next week, something just to get customers to go overnight, so less around the area. Yeah, probably about 11 to 7, 11 to 5 every day, Sunday on the road, so it gets busy and then sometime. Otherwise,
Motion to approve the petition.
Second. All in favor? Good luck.
To start on Thursday. We should pick up the one.
Is that
That's it.
okay? Thank you guys.
You as well. Okay, then we have another common victular, Donut City, Demlin. Anyone here from Donut City? Who's there?
Little expensive, no, it's good, they're nice.
Next. We have an application for a new license for the Lynn Memorial Auditorium. James Marsh, manager, is that one here? Yep. I can see. That's number 1.
Just a couple more seconds.
Okay.
A couple quick questions. Do you serve food for the concerts?
Snacks.
I defer to Attorney Phelan and ask him what he...
You will need to.
Okay,
Whether
that's
it's
great.
popcorn and things along
Well,
those lines.
we-
I think you've done that in the past.
We do like snacks and things like that, but we're actually looking at doing pizza and hot dogs. So that's actually.
That would comply completely.
Right now, dealing with purchasing, purchase orders.
It's a general on premises.
That is. So would it have to go different
As it is. Any questions?
The only other comment I'd make is everyone has to be tips trained.
Yeah, we use, we use professionals.
Oh, sure.
And they're all tips.
I think it's a great thing. You guys do a great job.
So you need a motion to accept the application?
I'll make a motion to accept the application.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Well. And we have a transfer of license, something irresistible, to Mama Bianco Restaurant.
Something resistant. president, this is the whole thing, you have to see it. Perfectly only restaurant, you have it, one in East Boston, someone in the line up with. There's one in East Boston. Showers with the head, down here, I guess. I have it. Then, just with that location. And also, you have that with some of that. Showers, just, they have experience in the field. That's before, that's the lot that.
John, any changes to the interior?
They must have said they're going to do some, maybe some adding equipment for the cooking. Kitchen, got the kitchen, other than that, we're the same. It's going to remain the same as it is, except for the fact that when they have equipment for the kitchen area. The hours are the same hours,
Same hours.
11 to 1 o'clock in the morning, etc. Maybe some karaoke is entertainment service.
Just, I think it's great that you're doing a restaurant. Great thing. My only concern again is the late night. So are you planning a nightclub operation?
No, if busy, I will hire a teacher, like weekend. But I don't know how busy are you, I don't know, I knew in the weekday.
Their intent is to keep it a restaurant, that's what they have with the other locations.
So what do
They
you
want
want,
the flexibility they have, the entertainment.
what are we asking for the entertainment license? Do you know yet? No.
Well, we just asked for a general entertainment license. We intend to have karaoke, I know that's not the night. We want to have the ability to have live entertainment, get that kind of stuff. It's a small location, small venue, it's going to be under 100 feet, no sprinkler system. So I dealt with the license. We can't do live entertainment. We'd like to have that option also. So we can install it.
I think the restaurant is fabulous. We're a little concerned about the late night, with the building that's in back of you that's overwhelming.
I will try to keep it very low, no complaint if possible, and then
Just be aware that there are residents there that have complained to us in the past. You'll hear from them right away as soon as they hear
I
that.
know, I have experience, I know.
We're gonna try to complain as much as we can, and we're gonna try to keep everything on track.
The restaurant is fabulous. Every time we go to a restaurant downtown, it's great.
Have you attended that?
Yeah.
I have a high professional, I watch it, I'm watching. Yeah, I train it, so yes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And for the record, this will conclude the settlement when it's approved by the ABCC. Okay. This would absolutely take care of it, and it will be finalized.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very much.
Good luck.
Have a night.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, is there anyone here from Donut City yet? Lynn? Okay, all right, we have transfer both that. Transfer of wine, beer and wine license for 61 Franklin. Tedeschi.
I'm Attorney Sam Vitale, 100%. He's the proposed minister. We had the floor plan given to Debbie in the building department. Tedeschi's is redoing the store that's on the corner of Light, Summer, in the business district. This is the affidavit. As some of the members who've been here longer can recall, there was a license at 551 Summer Street, which is literally across the street. This is 546, 548. And this board approved, as did the ABCC, approval of this very license to that location. And then there was a hold put on because of the Department of Revenue. And this, if you recall, was a Dixon's Market in Foxborough, Massachusetts, not the same Dixon's Market in Lynn, Massachusetts. But the DOR had, when they signed over to compliance, had put a hold on it.
Can I just interrupt you 1 second? We approve the Tedeschi license or the?
No, you approved this,
All right.
you approved this, both actors license going to 551.
Right, not the Tedeschi.
But the reason it got held up was firstly that. But then secondly, it turned out that we were able to, after much effort, demonstrate that any indebtedness of this Dixon's Market had been discharged when this Dixon had gone into bankruptcy. And, but there still persisted a hold, and we couldn't figure it out. So we filed what's called for a certificate of good standing, and Bo, of course, had all of her taxes paid. But it turned out that the transferee, the folks that were running, or proposing to run 551 Summer Street, had tax problems. Then they represented that they would get them resolved, and they made some effort. And if you recall, Attorney Phelan was involved because there was a dispute again between the landlord and the tenants of that building. And they voluntarily said, okay, we'll cease operation, the license will come back. Okay. They have been unable, for whatever reasons, to resolve their tax problem. And so what's before you tonight is the transfer of the license that was the subject of Bo's earlier attempt to this location at Tedeschi's. I think Muhammad's known to the board, he's been tips trained. He runs several stores in the city of Lynn, including one in which his wife is a principal and has a beer and wine license. So he's experienced. Then, with respect to Tedeschi's, we had to determine that as a matter of corporate policy, they didn't have any prohibition because they own the real estate outline at this address, and he is the franchisee. So even though he has the franchise, they own the real estate, and they assented to the use of the real estate for beer and wine. And so what we're asking is two things. One is to transfer the ownership of the beer and wine license, which is within the quota, which is an existing license that the city had. It's not a new license. To this location, which is literally across the street from where it was. And we transfer the ownership to this entity, which is the franchisee of Tedeschi's, and that we approve Muhammad as the manager, and we approve the pledge as part of the financing arrangement between he and the holder of the license. It's in an area, I think, that the board's familiar with, in Times Square, in which there are numerous businesses, some of which are supported by the ABCC. I'll be glad to answer questions.
Question about, back to the issue of us again.
Excuse me?
Has this gone to the city council?
No.
Attorney Phelan, anything else?
Well, first I think that,
The chief and council of the department put over for another day so that they can organize the community meeting and discuss the application.
I think we understand the council's position on this, but legally from the water department, and I called through to Tedeschi's corporate headquarters, and they indicated that they do prepare foods at their locations, and therefore this will fall under the retail food mart, and it would fall into, that it would need to go in front of the city council.
Well, that may be somebody's opinion, but I'll give you mine. Here's the Lynn zone ordinance. You're a new member, so you might look at it. And you can see that in a business district, a retail store is a permitted use. I have one for everyone. Also, at the bottom of that page, you will see that it describes food service establishment. I have underlined and underscored where it says the term does not include a retail food store. Right? Now, you just approved a common victular. And a victular is a person who sells victuals, which is food or drink. I don't believe there's a requirement for a retail food store or convenience store in the city of Lynn to get a common victular license. Am I correct? So there is no requirement to be a common victular, to be a retail food store. So that I've made the argument in the past that the city council consent is required for what's on the next 2 pages. It says a food establishment where alcoholic beverages in addition to food are served, and I circle the word served. And the next point in the city council under section 13.5 of the ordinance, it's a food establishment either with or without alcoholic beverages. But my position hasn't changed, that a retail food store is specifically excluded. And I only have one other thing that I have to leave with you. I found a case of the Massachusetts Supreme Court involving the city of Lynn. Nobody here is old enough to remember. Maybe so. When I was a kid, I worked at the Young Farm on Summer Street. It used to be the New York Model Bakery. It used to be the kosher chicken store. It used to be a variety of food stores. This case involves 86 Blossom Street in Lynn. And as the Supreme Court in 1940 said, for people who, because of their race or belief, they had a rabbi who was there when they slaughtered the chickens. And this is Fotis Petros versus the superintendent of buildings in Lynn. And the question is, what's a retail food store? And the Supreme Court looked at the Lynn ordinance and decided what a retail food store is. And it said, just like a fish market sells fish that they might kill, a poultry store that sells chickens that they might kill is not a slaughterhouse. It's a retail store. They're not preparing food, even though they slaughter chickens, even though you can buy fresh fish at the fish market. It talks about the fact that it's in a building with a bakery, a pharmacy, and some other retail stores. It looks at the permitted uses in the Lynn zone ordinance in a business district. It looks at what are like retail stores. And so I would suggest that my view of what a retail food store has been upheld by the Massachusetts Supreme Court. And I'd be glad to defer to the chief and counsel the panel. But this is a different matter. This is a matter, in my judgment, of law and of fact. But as far as the worthiness of the individual or the suitability of the location, putting aside whether you believe there's, even though it's in a business district, and it's a permitted use, a retail food store in a business district. This is a retail food store. There may be questions with respect to suitability of the applicant, which would include the upper. But
I just in my quick reading of this, and I'd have to really research it. Once again, this is the killing and cleaning of food as opposed to the preparation for the individual.
No, when you read it, you'll see. That I don't care what it says in terms of food preparation. It says specifically it excludes retail food stores. The same ordinance defines a retail food store as a neighborhood grocery, a variety store, or a retail food. And it says that's excluded from that definition. So there's nothing in the Lynn zone ordinance other than pertains to a food establishment where food is served. And I think if you do look at common victuals, why is it you require Donut City, Bianco's Pizza, whatever, to get a common victual license? Because they're serving food. But you don't require Ridgedale, Stop and Shop. They don't have common victuals license. They may have a dairy permit, they may an ice cream permit, they may have permits from the health department, but they're not required to get a common victuals license. The plain meaning of victualers is people who sell food or drink. So, that's for another day, because the chief, and I did speak, by the way, with Councilor Pound both yesterday and today. I thought he was gonna be here to tell you the truth, but he may have a council.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just a comment on, and I don't want to belabor this any longer than we have to, but, and I appreciate your presentation, but I think we have to depend on our own law
Oh, yeah.
to decide that. And as I said last month with this, it's a major way, I think, a major change in the way this board does business.
But if the Lynn zoning ordinance is deficient in some way, it's not my problem.
I understand that. That's what I was leading to also here. If it needs to be changed, then the city council may need to change it. But the bottom line is for us, probably since the zoning ordinance came into existence, almost every case, probably every case has gone before the city council. So it's a big difference in the way we do business.
I think
Different
until we're
levels-
told otherwise by our own council.
Different level of scrutiny, different level of appeal. And it's a major change for us to commit. I would make the two motions, I guess. One, that we request the law department specifically to give us an opinion on this case. And number two, that this be tabled until next month at the cost of the police and council.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
Okay, conference with Charlie Chan's, Union Street, for a number of police reports. How you doing? And we're here to discuss a number of police reports of incidents that have happened in or around the property.
Well, I see the people from the fire room. I see for a couple of months. We were, but they were trying to change. I don't know why they keep on the court. The first one, my manager was working general. We both couldn't call their name, so we have no idea what's any dispute about that.
I don't know,
No personally.
I know all my patrons inside the bar, was hearing people not on the bell at all.
July 26th. He's out front.
How can they say he was trying to claim our bar?
Can I just say one thing to you? I think from the first night you came in here, you recall the conversations we had about the kind of difficulties you would have here. And I think those words have run true over the years. The chairperson calls you in for a conference, which is a level below a hearing. The hearing is just, so I think that she decided to give you somewhat of a break here. But there's too many reports, there's too much going on. You guys have got to get, wait before you talk, you've got to get control somehow down there. I know it's a very difficult place, we told you again the first time we came in, but somehow you've got to step up and get control. Next time around, you're going to be in for a hearing. It's because it's too many times.
Yeah, I see it. It's a conference, not hearing. And also, like I said earlier, like, the guy is having a big,
Yeah, you know who, yeah, he's been here multiple times.
he's not even serving now, so I don't know why is it.
So if you see him out in front of your establishment, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, we have to leave. I mean, several times we tell him, welcome here, please leave.
But then it gets mounted, and somebody,
So what do you think you should do?
we call the police.
I
now call the
We
police.
go right, we go, just trespassing,
think the point is, our confidence in you, that we tried to extend you over all these years, is beginning to wane. So you've got to somehow step up and take control. And that's what we need to hear, how you're gonna do it. Because whatever you're doing now is not working. You're attracting problems or
One
whatever.
of the toughest place, we try our best. Every time when we see a customer that we don't have, we bar them, and we don't allow them back. And that's why we see less and less of the people that we bar them, that's the problem. But so far, some of the problem before here, nothing associated with Charlie Chan, so I don't know why you even brought it up.
Do you have any security? Might want to consider.
It might be a good
You can
idea,
get-
I agree.
Might want to consider getting security.
No, I go out often, but I don't care if you're man or the beast. I do step up in front of them. I will say that.
Sandy?
I wasn't working that night with Essie.
Yeah, that's it, man.
But
There's
she
another
didn't
one
have
that
it
does-
inside either.
She just
She had it
came in to
outside.
charge you, not yet 30 seconds, and then the police followed him, and he say, they mentioned about, life or anything, but she just got in, not yet 30 seconds, and the police already, which means the police is already following him for someone else.
I agree with Mr. Papa Joe, that you need to really step up and be more proactive. Because probably looking back and forth. But yeah.
I don't think anyone else would give us as much latitude as we have. We understand it's a tough spot. You're raising your hand, you're attracting way too much attention back. Way too much. No, you're not gonna get there. It's your responsibility to take care of it.
Legally, if there are problems that are occurring outside that have been attracted to your car, this establishment, this board, you should roll back your hours. So someone's been late, we can withstand that challenge. I think it's not a break here. Legally, even though it's happening outside, it seems to be attracted by your establishment. So, I mean, that would be very detrimental to business.
There's an application, and we try our best on this.
Yeah, I know. The others don't have a lot of sympathy for that. We discussed that before we gave the license. And it's, how many employees do you have? I think you've got to get everybody together. You're gonna have the staff getting together and talk about it. You're gonna lay down the law to them, we'll lay down the law to them. And they're gonna make change.
Yeah, seriously, you may want to consider hiring professional security.
There's nobody else that's ten feet away. Something going on here.
I don't know.
Attracted to this establishment.
I hope we have communicated this to you, I hope we understand seriously. If it continues, it's gonna escalate right up the ladder. The hearings, suspensions, revocation.
Go back about.
Just make sure you take that back with you tonight, understand that. These guys are watching, I think the whole police department is watching.
They're all watching.
They're tracking attention.
That's why my name's in there.
And trust me, they have plenty of time on their hands to do other things that are much more
Guys,
important.
you need to do other things.
No, they can't. This is the problem, they can't, okay? They have,
But there's not.
okay? All right, thank you.
Now we get the candy. Guys, we'll see you Thursday.
Thursday night?
I hope not.
No, outside.
Oh,
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Okay, then we have a hearing for Lynn T. County Post.
Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen of the board, my name is Jim Cato, and I am
Unfortunately, on this day, I was in the Caribbean, St. John. However, I have two bar managers that assist me. Eric is one of them, and Honey Stead is the other. Honey Russell is the other one. And both of them on this night were at the bar and present. And unfortunately, we were never notified that, from eyewitness testimony, that we were never notified that there was any problems in our parking lot. It was an altercation that took place and apparently stopped in a very short amount of time. Fortunately, an officer was going by and stopped and broke this up. But as far as the bar knows, we have no knowledge that it even took place.
Are you familiar with any of the individuals in this report?
No, not.
Are you following the rules of your club license?
Absolutely.
Well, we want to hear it.
No,
Do you have
absolutely.
cameras on your parking lot?
No, we do not. We have brought the film with us.
Did you have a party that night?
No,
You didn't?
no,
No contract for a party on that night?
no, none whatsoever.
Just for probably the club license, they're restricted to members and guests. That's a little different from open to the public. Thank you.
We still have our sheets out there. We still
Good.
sign
And
them.
you make these
Just
signs?
like you. He was very emphatic when he was the chair.
Glad to hear it.
No,
Happy to hear
no,
it.
absolutely. And as you know, the last time we had an incident, we cooperated more. I mean, we had a bounce run present, we locked the place down. That really wasn't our fault either. I mean, you just have these idiots that converse, and there's nothing really. And I'm sure that these good police officers can tell you that. They're out there.
Gentlemen, have anything else on this?
No, we're good.
Make a motion to accept the files.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anyone here who don't? That'd be another Mount Foster's in the bacon, all right? Okay, then we have a number of communications.
License apparently.
And we have a number of communications, a notice from ABCC regarding a new catering license, and then also a notice from ABCC for a hearing on Wednesday, December 19th for the beer and wine license. Then a letter from Vitale,
That's
for,
the-
again,
Is
that
the
one.
appeal.
And a notice from Mass Water that they don't operate.
Motion, we accept all the communications.
Second. All in favor? Okay, and we have, 3 police reports in your packet. Kevin's Cultural Center, Foul Play Sports Bar, and Max's Pub. What is your pleasure?
We went around, yes,
Okay, now we have, what, 3 minutes? I know, I'll take a minute to read those. Thank you. Yeah, we see these. Yeah, those are ones that are in the packet. Yeah, yeah, it wasn't inside. And, and JD Sports, I think, if you read that one, you'll see that, yeah, which was the last, and they can stay with JD Sports Bar.
So JD's is now foul play, is that what?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so that's acceptable files?
Yep.
Which one, Kevin's?
I would say go.
Files, files for JD's,
Yep.
47 Central.
No, JD's is 155, 159.
I'm going to 47 Central Max.
Oh, now you're going that, oh, I'm sorry.
It sounds like 47 Central Hall.
Yeah, they called. The person was inside, but they called.
Yes. And the police had difficulty with them. They did call, which is progress, which I.
Baby steps. Baby steps.
No, it's just for the file.
Okay. 47 Central is the second file.
Okay, Lynn Wayne?
That's one we have to.
Oh, yes, school bus. Yeah, the school bus,
It's the same.
yellow school bus. That. Full of sales tickets. Big bowlers.
That's what the, what's the Broad Street is, the champions.
Yeah.
Sports bar. That's it.
But with the hotel, that one right across the street there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know, this one has been, this is a different owner, but they really location for a lot of problems in the past. I don't know whether he's. Were you down there?
Not,
Were you down there?
I wasn't down there.
I was Rich was.
What do you think? We need to bring him in?
Yeah, I put it on the guy, I can tell him it's me, so I went, oh, we have bracelets, I looked at it. Point out a bracelet to
Bring
me.
him in for conference?
He goes, oh, no, we put markers, that's a good system.
Okay.
Conference?
Conference
Yes.
for 170 Broad? What's next?
Okay, and then, we received two today for Nice Pythias and the Four Winds. Okay. Do you know who called?
Which one?
I'm sorry,
That's
Nice Pythias.
I don't know who called him now.
Looks like they called.
It was one of the coroners, so.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
You do a very good job.
So it wouldn't be the Bob.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make a motion, we.
What is
Yeah.
it?
I should think this is last night.
Right, let's just hope they call. What do you think?
Like you said, last meeting, they're supposed to do kind of.
Pretty good.
Yes, agree.
No, Four Winds is fine.
Yeah.
I think the night is pretty well. We just
You're
have to
comfortable with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty good.
We'll accept it.
New business?
Oh, yeah.
Schedule for next year.
That was nice.
Okay, and under new business, please take a look at the schedule for 2013 of our meetings, huh?
Imagine that. Whoa.
No.
Is everything okay with it?
I don't know, let's check our calendar.
Yeah.
Please note that December meetings are always early, it's like the second week as opposed to the fourth week.
If it is really, sex,
Just,
I know it goes there.
I think it's coming up in 7 years.
They said they wanted to, he didn't receive any notice of it, or notice of it here.
Oh, bless you.
Then we want to start. One question.
Oh, no.
Any other business? Any other? always one question.
Really good like that?
1 second.
Look at 1980.
Say it again. Just for 1 day license. We had so many, we approved it.
Okay, sorry, I didn't
Yeah,
know.
no problem.
You get a good laugh.
Yeah, you're good, Mike?
Beer, man.
You're fine.
Oh, yeah.
Where is this at?
College is.
Oh, my